help students to enroll in master programs in Sweden. And now today, I think you know, some of you already perhaps, some of you have been at a webinar with Abby in Cecilia, which we had about 2 weeks ago, was it, Abby?
A week ago, I think.
Yeah,
it was
2 weeks ago.
week.
Yeah. So Abby, yeah, so with Cecilia and Abby. And Abby, where are you from?
Originally from India. I'm a
Okay.
well, I live and work in Sweden now. I'm a Swedish citizen, but I'm originally, my family hails from India.
Okay. So you've been in India for quite some time, haven't you?
Yeah, I grew up in India. So I'm originally from India. I spent my entire childhood and 24 years of my life there, more or less.
Okay.
Then I moved to Sweden and basically became a citizen here.
Okay. So how long have you been in Sweden, Abby?
11 years. So
11 years.
yeah, I know it's a decade past.
You're probably more Swedish than I am, Abby.
Well, I think that's debatable. I'm fairly certain there are things about you that make you Swedish in ways that I'm not, and the vice versa. So yeah.
And you, Leticia, you don't sound Leticia Levkvist is not that well. Your surname is very Swedish, but yours, but you're Leticia. Where are you from, Leticia?
Yeah, I'm originally from Mexico. Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? But I'm also kind of Swedish because I've been living here for 23 years. So I have double citizenship. So Sweden and Mexico.
It's about the time I've been in Colombia pretty much now, because I got here in 2002. It's been quite some time. And Magnus, I think you got the most very Swedish name, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. My surname is probably one of the most common in Sweden. So I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, online I'm invincible. So I mean, that's always good.
And then we got Stefan Haglund, which is also very, very Swedish name, isn't it?
It's, yes, definitely rather common, I would say, but obviously not as common as Anderson. But I'm hanging in there, doing my best to become more common.
And then we got Leonardo, and Leonardo is not Swedish at all. So Leonardo, where are you from?
Hello everyone, I'm Leonardo. I'm from Colombia, and I'm currently a scholarship holder from the Swedish Institute. I've been here for 1 year and a half, so definitely it will take time for me to really become a sweet person. But so far it's been amazing. It's been such a great experience.
So I think we have about a little bit more, almost 50 people connected at the moment. So I think we will start the webinar. So. Yeah, okay, very good. So, hello everybody. As I said, my name is Jürgen Sjöberg, which is not that Colombian. As you can hear, it's quite difficult to to pronounce it actually, because it's got SJ. It's like a sound in Sweden, like, and then it got what is like another letter which doesn't exist in Spanish, as it is like and then Sjöberg is my surname, and my first name is Jörgen. I think some of you guys already know me from the other webinars. If you don't know me, I'm the owner of Instituto Nordico, a company I founded back in 2007, and it's pretty much like the Swedish embassy actually gave me a call many years ago. It's actually back in 2007, asked me, well, we got some people here who would like to study Swedish. Would you be able to teach them Swedish? Well, yeah, I can try it out. And now, well, I've been teaching Swedish for about 13 years now, and we represent quite a few Swedish universities. And we have got, we've been doing this webinar now for about, I think about 5 weeks now. So we have had like 5 universities doing webinars with us. So we got today, now we got Abby here with us. He's from Chalmers University. And then Leticia, which is from Jönköping University, which is a fantastic city as well. You can see it behind her. It's an amazing city. Like you got a lake in front. It almost looks like it would be a sea. An amazing, very interesting place. And then we got Stefan here with us as well, with it from Linneaus University. I think we had a webinar with you. Was this about 4 or 5 days ago, didn't we, Stefan?
Something like that, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And all the webinars are uploaded on our YouTube channel. I think the one which is not uploaded on the YouTube channel is the one we did with you, but that is something that we will upload it very, very soon. So as I said, who are we? We are, so Instituto Nordic was founded back in 2007. And here in Colombia, we teach several languages. Not the languages which are, yes, we teach here, we teach Swedish, we teach Norwegian, and we also teach English here in Colombia. When it comes to the English courses, I would say that we tend to prepare people for IELTS more than anything at the moment. But we also got some companies who have been taking actually English classes with us. Sorry. It's also possible to certify your knowledge here at our institute, your Swedish knowledge, with an exam called SWEDIX, which is an A2, B1, and B2 level. And we also got thesis, which is a C1 level. I guess most of you guys knows about the levels. It's called like A. It's like the basic levels. Then you got the B levels, the intermediate levels. They got the C levels, which are the advanced level. And then, well, we represent quite a few universities and language institutes involved. In total, at the moment, I think it's 27, but actually might be more. But we focus a lot on Sweden when it comes to higher education, where I'm originally from. And if you like to study another language, for example, even Japanese, Korean, or Arabic, you would be able to do it with us as well. And we will help you too. Yeah, we work, as I said, we work with institutes, for example, in Japan and Korea, and even we work in the language institute in Jordan. So if you like to study one of these languages, we can help you out. And of course, we like to study German, French, or another language, we can help you out as well. And here in Colombia, we will help you with the visa application, or we won't perhaps help you with the visa application, but we'll tell you what you need for the visa application. And when it comes to living, to accommodation, these universities in Sweden guarantee your accommodation because you're paying the you pay the fee for studying. And another thing we do here in Colombia is we do the official translations from Spanish to English. So if you need to translate your documents, we are here to help you. And we do not charge anything for our services. The only thing we charge for our translations, but apart from that, we don't charge anything. And there's the next one. And another thing, when it comes to studying in Sweden, what is perhaps the most tricky part for a lot of people is the English requirements, which is IELTS. You need to get an IELTS academic 6.5. And you also need, or you can also do the TOEFL. So you need a TOEFL score 90. The last day to apply to study in Sweden is 15th of January. I would say, like, don't apply the last day. I think try to apply some days before. If there's any problem with the server, which might happen, well, I would say it's better to apply some days before. If there's any problems, they will probably open it up again. But yeah, I think it's better to apply some days before. And the last day to complete your application is the 1st of February when it comes to uploading documents. But still, try to upload the documents some days before. Another thing a lot of people ask about is doing a PhD studies, doing a PhD in Sweden. In Sweden, it's a bit different from many other countries, because in Sweden, it's actually it's a work. Actually, you get paid for doing a PhD in Sweden, and it's quite good actually. And if you like to work in Sweden, to learn some Swedish helps. But for example, Leonardo is quite an interesting case. I guess he's still learning something. He's still learning Swedish. He's learning Swedish at the moment, and I think that if you have got a very good Swedish level when you finish your master program, I think it might be easier to find a work. But still, it's not necessary to have a very good Swedish level to find a job in Sweden, but it helps a lot to know some. If you look for example, a computer engineer, perhaps you don't need to know that much Swedish to find a job, but it helps a lot. And also about to integrate into the Swedish society. And when it comes to scholarships, there are quite a few scholarships. And today we're here with Magnus. I'm very sorry, Magnus, if I didn't introduce you. So he's here with us today. He's from Swedish Institute, and he's going to tell us a bit more about their scholarship, which is amazing. It covers everything pretty much. It covers the fee. It covers even the living cost, even a return ticket to Colombia. And if you're not in Colombia, it covers the ticket as well. And then other scholarships is the one from Colfuturo, which is like a scholarship loan, which is from Colombia. And then the university also got scholarships, which covers between 30 and 100% of the tuition fee. That is pretty much, So if you'd like to contact us, here is our contact information, which is, you can see here, 301-517-6511. And we're also on Facebook, we're also on Instagram. Here's our email address. And as I said, we don't charge anything for our services. Only thing we charge for is translations, and that's about it. So now I'm going to leave you here. Another thing I'm going to ask you, I think, where are all the people from here in the chat? You're asking them? Okay, yeah. Yeah, we had, quite interesting. We might have people even connected to this webinar from Iran. We got people who stand from Russia and also from India. So I don't know. Yeah, can have a look at it a bit later on. So Magnus, I will leave it to you now, and so we'll tell people about why you should apply to your amazing scholarship and what you need.
Okay, thank you, Jürgen. Do you mind if I share the screen?
Yes. Okay, yeah, it's on second. I just need to, I think you should be able to, yeah. Let's see.
So here we go. So do you see my presentation?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. Hi everybody. My name is Magnus Anderson, and I'm the program manager here at the Swedish Institute. I say here, but I'm currently at home. And I'm going to show you a brief presentation about the Swedish Institute scholarship for global professionals. And the Swedish Institute is a public agency that promotes interest and trust in Sweden all around the world. We work in the fields of culture, education, science, business, and business to strengthen international relations and development. There's been a lot of interest in Sweden during this pandemic, based on the way we have dealt with the virus. And one of the areas the Swedish Institute is working with is to monitor and evaluate how everybody else all around the world perceives Sweden and the image of Sweden. So my colleagues have had a busy year, to say the least. Another area we work with is building and strengthening relationship with people all over the world. We do this in many ways, and one way is by offering scholarships for people who want to, for instance, study a master's program in Sweden. Right before the end of this presentation, I'll show you a short video. It's just 3 minutes long, just to illustrate how you can apply, and then I will summarize the most important dates and things from that film. So let's see now. So the Swedish Institute Scholarship for Global Professional is, as Jörgen said before, a fully funded scholarship. We award the scholarship to between 300 and 350 individuals per year. This is based on the fact that we have a different budget structure for the amount of individuals that are awarded the scholarship differs each year because of our budget structures. And but I can say that for the next year, 2021, we have just now been doing an overview of our budget, and we can see that we will be able to grant 350 scholarships next year. And as Jörgen said, the scholarship covers basically everything. It covers the tuition fees, which will be directly paid to the university by us at the Swedish Institute, and you will be given living expenses of 10,000 Swedish crowns per month that you are in Sweden and studying your program. And you will receive a one-time travel grant between 10 to 15,000 Swedish crowns, depending on where you're from. But I can say people in Colombia will receive the maximum amount of that travel grant, which is then 15,000 Swedish crowns. During your time here in Sweden, you will be covered through our insurance against illness and accident. I just want to mention that the insurance is covering you in Sweden. Some universities do have you do have the possibility to study like a semester abroad in Europe or outside Europe, and depending on your visa, that insurance might not cover you if you are outside of the Schengen area, for instance. You'll also get a membership of the Swedish Institute Network for Future Global Leaders. This is a help platform to help you grow professionally and to build a network while you are in Sweden and studying your program. So right now, of course, as you all might know, this is going to be a digital year. And we have had, for instance, in the network, we have been having a leadership program for members of the network so that they can, how do I say, they can strengthen their leadership capabilities on, I think it's 5 or 6 times during this semester that we will have this education or this leadership program. When you return back home, you will also be a member of the Swedish Institute Alumni Network. This is a platform for you to continue your networks and professional development at home. And the Swedish Alumni Network also have a possibility to arrange activities in your country at home with the funding from the Swedish Institute. So you can apply for a 1 or 2 year master's program in Sweden starting in the autumn semester of 2021. The programs need to be taught in English, and you have about 700, I think it's 724 actually, master's program to choose from that are eligible for the Swedish Institute scholarship. And you can study basically all across Sweden in more than 30 universities. Of course, who can apply? You need to hold a citizenship in one of the 42 eligible countries. Which country it is I mean, basically it's Colombia in South America, of course, and you have Brazil, Guatemala, Honduras, for instance. You can read all the 42 countries on our webpage if you like. You need to have at least 3,000 hours of work experience and demonstrated leadership experience. This is because we want to be able to get applicants that are not basically not fresh from the universities, but that they have actually also they have a platform in their home country where they have been both studying and working, so that they have a platform to return to when the master's program in Sweden is finished. And of course, you have to be admitted to an eligible master's program on time, and the video in the end will demonstrate how this works. And you should not have previously lived in Sweden for more than 2 years, or been enrolled in a master's program at the Swedish University, or previously been awarded an SI scholarship, because then if any of those three occurs, then you are disqualified from the Swedish Institute scholarships. Our target group is mainly future global leaders. We want to develop future global leaders who will basically contribute to the goals of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, so that you can contribute to a positive and sustainable development in your home country and home region. And this is why we need to see this professional background. That's why we have a 3,000-hour minimum of working experience, so that you at least have some experience from working at home, and hopefully a platform to return to. And also you can see on the presentation that we're looking for ambition and potential to bring positive social change, experience from involvement in any civil society or non-government organization as well. And this is basically just to broaden the number of applicants that we can find, of course, and make sure that we have people who are working with just the potential to bring a positive social change. And let's see, I think I'm going to stop share right now and just show you this short video. And please let me know, everybody, if there's any problem with the sound when I'm playing this. So just give me a second.
Are you ambitious with a strong professional background and looking to make a difference in the world? Would you like to be granted a fully funded scholarship to pursue a master's degree in Sweden? Here is how to apply for a scholarship from the Swedish Institute, a government agency. We have several scholarship programs for applicants from different countries, all listed on our website, si.se. First, find out if there is a scholarship program for your country of citizenship for master's studies. If yes, then check on the site to see if you meet the eligibility criteria of the specific scholarship program. If you meet the criteria, next find the list of master's programs that are eligible for our scholarships and what subjects are prioritized. The competition is tough, so only a small percentage of applicants will receive scholarships. If you can't find any scholarships you are eligible for, visit studyinsweden.se to learn more about scholarships provided by universities and other organizations. If you find a Swedish Institute scholarship you are eligible for, go to universityadmissions.se to apply for master's programs that are eligible for SI scholarships. In Sweden, university admissions handles all applications and application fees to the various Swedish universities. Remember, you must not miss any of their deadlines, and if you have any questions, contact university admissions directly. Once you applied for master's programs, submitted the required documents, and paid the application fee to university admissions, make sure you save the application
that was the video I wanted to show you, and I know there's a lot of information in 3 minutes and probably in 4 in my sorry, I'm just gonna have to, sorry, the sound was still on from the video. So I wanted to briefly show you the let's see now. There we go. So I wanted to briefly show you the dates that you need to have been filled out an application to university admissions, which is the 15th of January at the latest. And you have to make sure that all the required documents, and you have paid the application fees, of course, on time. And then while that's done, you will apply for the Global Professional Scholarship from the Swedish Institute. And we are open between February 8th until February 18th. So I will send the presentation as well as the video to Jörgen, and maybe he can spread it to all of you who have been listening now, in case there's been any too much information in a short time. So with that, I just want to say thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please visit our webpage, or you can email me directly at my email. I will type it in the chat so you can send any email that you want. So thank you, and back to Jörgen.
So yeah, one question we receive quite frequently is about how much is 3,000 hours. And I think I replied, I think someone at SE told me that it's about 1.5 year experience, work experience. Yeah, so
yes,
3,000 hours. Yeah, so 3,000 hours is about 1.5 year experience. And another thing people ask about is like the stamp they need to be on all the papers when it comes to certify their work experience. And I know as you told me when I spoke to some days ago, that it's a bit old-fashioned what you need, how to certify that it actually they've been working for this company. But you can tell us a bit more about this. How does it work out with the stamp they need to have on the papers?
Yeah, I know it's a little bit old-fashioned, but we need to see the stamps because I mean, digital stamps and digital signatures is, I mean, we don't have any at the moment. We don't have any ways to verify any digital stamps or signatures at the moment, and so I'm sure there's probably some good tools to do that, but we don't have them right now. So we have to have these stamps. It's also to make another step to make it a little bit harder to apply. It shouldn't just be too easy to apply either, because you have to do all the steps fully. And I mean, people have time. It's 8 or 9 weeks away, so
yeah, no, use the time because we got clients who've been pretty much like uploading the documents at the last minute, and then we had some clients that the server, there have been some problems with the server at Swedish Institute, and a lot of things can happen. So please don't upload the last minute. Upload on some, perhaps 1 or 2 days before. And application period, when is it, Magnus?
You can apply for the Swedish Institute scholarship we open on February the 8th on midnight, so Central European time. So, and it will close on February 18th at 3 o'clock Central European time. So that's important. So you don't have you don't have until midnight between the 18th and the 19th of February. It's until 3 o'clock. I can type it in the chat so that you all have the information there.
So when it comes to certify these documents, I know that he might be here on the webinar today, and he asked me, like, if the company hasn't got this sort of stamp, that can still go to like notaria, what it's called is in Spanish, like notary, is it called in English?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how do you know how does it work out? What do they need?
I think I'm not completely sure about how to if the company don't have a stamp, but I mean I think that the company the people, the reference persons from the company need to go to the notary together with the applicant and receive a stamp from there.
Okay. Yeah. You had a question about it, but yeah, I think we can sort it out afterwards, and we can send if someone asks about it, we can reply. But that is a common question we receive about a scholarship. When it comes to scholarship, actually, I think last year, actually this year, because still it's 2020, about 12 or 13 Colombians won the scholarship. It is quite a lot. If you look at the percentage who win the scholarship, I think what we're looking at was about between 5 and 7% win the scholarship, which is still quite good, I would say. Yeah,
I think the actual percentage of who is awarded the scholarship is between 2 to 3%.
Okay.
So the competition is very tough. I mean, this year we got, I think, close to 7,000 applicants.
Yeah.
So from all over the world. So.
Yeah, I think it depends. I guess like sometimes more Colombians that receive it, and sometimes less. But still, I would say like if you win the scholarship, it's amazing. It's like to win on a lottery, pretty much. So it's an amazing scholarship. So yeah, I said I think 12 Colombians who won it last year, but 3 of them was from us actually. So it's quite good. And it includes everything, as I said, it's an amazing scholarship. But also other options as well. As I said, like you got a scholarship from universities, got very good scholarships as well. And then you got Colfuturo here in Colombia. So it's not the only option. And I would say it's more about to invest in your future. It's not just about, it costs a lot of money, but still it's a very good investment. We got many students, some are still in Sweden. Some have returned, and a lot of them are still in Sweden. They found a job. So if we look at it more as an investment, it costs to start in Sweden, but it's an amazing investment. So Leonardo, you're one of the scholarships winners, I believe.
Thank you, Jürgen, for having me here, and hola a todos mis queridos colombianos. As I mentioned in my introduction, I'm one of the scholarship holders for the period 2019-2021. I'm currently studying a program in digital business. It's a 2-year master's program. I have a background in business administration. I studied at National University in Bogota. And I developed my career in the non-profit sector for almost 8 years. So at the time I applied for the scholarship, I already had an experience. And I mentioned this because this is not that different of the average profile of a Colombian. We don't tend to pursue a master's straight after we finish our first degree. So it give us an advantage, and I think that was my case. And despite I developed my career in the nonprofit sector, which is aligned with the approach of this scholarship in some way, I think that it doesn't matter if you have developed a career in another sector, in the private sector, for example, or in a bank or in a private company, as long as you can show that you have developed some sort of leadership skills or something, or you have been involved in any social program or project, it adds value to your application. So going back to what I'm doing here in Sweden. So I got the scholarship to study this program in digital business. First year, of course, it was pretty intended to give you all of the foundations about the digital world, about how to navigate the transition towards a digital lifestyle and organizations more focused on the digital part. And I'm now doing my internship. I'm running the 3rd semester. I'm doing my internship with the Science Park which is a kind of accelerator center in Sweden. As far as I understand, all of the universities in Sweden have a science park attached. So this is pretty good in so many ways because it gives you the opportunity to develop like a practical part, because of course we come here to do a master program. So in so many ways, it's pretty theoretically focused, but of course you want to develop your practical skills, and at some point in the program you want to do that. So now in my third semester, I feel that I'm getting that opportunity, and most of the programs have like that kind of approach. Like you have your either you can go to do an exchange in other university, or you can have the opportunity to do your internship. Then in the fourth semester, which is going to happen for me in next year, you need to pursue your thesis. So right now I'm running the time in which I need to submit my thesis proposal, which I think that it won't be so hard because I'm just trying to align what I'm doing with my internship to what I expect to research for my thesis. Regarding the application, so I'm so glad that the Instituto Nordico is doing this kind of events, because this scholarship, it's not that well known in Colombia. And of course, we want more Colombians to apply to this wonderful scholarship, wonderful opportunity. So basically, in my case, I knew about this scholarship through a friend. And that's a good way. So like I got a reference about this. So I saw the requirements, and I thought, okay, I have the work experience. I developed my career in the nonprofit sector. So in some way it's aligned to the approach of this scholarship. And another thing that it was interesting is like I wanted to change the scope of my career, because now I'm involved in digital business, which is not that related to what I studied in Colombia, or where I did in Colombia in terms of my profession. So as you can see, it's not a problem as long as you have a good application and you can explain why you are interested in pursuing studies in the field that you choose. It's up to you to do it. In terms of the requirements, I think that Jürgen mentioned something that it's pretty important, like the English language certificate. So we usually have, for example, when we come from public universities, sometimes we don't have the certificate, so we need to make sure that we have that in advance. If you come from a private university, usually you have it. But I would say that this is the starting point. The other thing is like the translation, translation of your transcripts and your diploma. So make sure to have that in advance. And the third point, it was already mentioned by Magnus and Jürgen, is the certifications of your experience. And I remember that when I did my application, I had also to provide a certification of any involvement with organizations or projects in which I develop leadership skills. So make sure to have that, like not only the certification about your experience, but also if you have been involved in any leadership scenario, it would be great. And the stamps and all of the requirements. Make sure to do it, because for me it was pretty time consuming. I remember that I also considered the possibility of going to a notaria, as we call it in Colombia, because in one of the companies who was supposed to give me the reference didn't have the stamp. So I thought that that could be an issue, but if you can manage that through the notaria, it will be great. It it's of course it's pretty competitive, so make sure to do a good application, put some effort to write the answers in the best way possible, and to demonstrate is the opportunity to sell your profile, you know. So through the questions, or if you need to write any letter of intent or something, I don't know how things are specifically now for the application, but for me, I had to write like 2 answers responding to 2 questions. And that was basically the way I demonstrated how my profile was aligned with the approach of this scholarship. The experience in Sweden, it's amazing. Of course, at the beginning, you experience so many. I won't say something different. It's like from the weather. It's like you need to make new friends. You are in a different environment, the language, everything is so different. So everything comes in the same moment. So you need to deal with that. So you need to be emotionally strong, I would say, in order to face those challenges. But apart from that, it's like the kind of experience that you can have in different countries. So it's not that different. And of course, you have to put so much effort in your studies. One of the things that I would highlight about the Swedish educational system is like it's pretty team oriented. So you need to work all of the time with your peers, with your colleagues. And it's pretty interesting in the way that, of course, you are in a multicultural environment. So you need to deal with different personalities, different ways to think, of course. But it's not only challenging the situation that you experience, but it's also nice because you enrich the debate in your classes or while doing your assignments with different backgrounds. So I think that I have already covered all of the points, and I will give some time for answers. And of course, you can write in the chat if you want me to say something, and a specific point about something. And yeah, but I really encourage all of the Colombians to take advantage of this opportunity. Like we're part of the eligible countries for this scholarship. And last thing, so I wanted to mention about the Network for Future Global Leaders. So as scholarship holders, we are part, as Magnus already mentioned, we are part of that network, which basically means that during your studies, you have some moments and spaces in which you interact with other scholarship holders in your university, and you need to organize some events in order to to show a way you make the connection between your studies and the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Goals. So I think that's the opportunity in which you bridge the gap between your studies and the approach of the scholarship. And of course, you have so many opportunities to get trained through the network. So for example, this coming Saturday, I'm going to join the 3rd session for the self-leadership program, which is such a great opportunity to develop additional skills of the ones that you develop through your program. So I think that this is pretty, this scholarship is pretty integral in so many ways. It's not only that you come to Sweden to study your program, you can develop yourself, you can develop so many skills related to you as a person, as a professional. So yeah, any other thing that maybe I didn't mention, make sure to ask me on the chat. Thank you so much.
So thanks a lot, Leonardo. Another thing I want to mention, as you did, to do an internship is very, very good in Sweden. If you would like to work in Sweden when you finish your studies, to do an internship is a very, very good thing, because then they will get to know you, and yeah, it will much better possibility to find a job in Sweden when you finish your studies. Another thing I want to mention is that I think Jönköping just signed an agreement with Instituto. So you get, if you win the scholarship loan with them, I think you'll get a reduction on their scholarship. I think it's about, is it 20%, Leticia? I think you're on mute, Leticia.
Sorry, yeah, I was mute. I'm sorry. I can make an announcement. Yeah, we signed an agreement with another funding provider, which is called Futuro in Colombia, and students can compete for 60% scholarship, actually.
60, wow.
60%, but we can only offer one. So.
Okay, but still, it's quite good. And I think Chalmers, you're also about to sign an agreement with Futuro. Am I right?
That is true. That is true. So we're basically in the last stages. The agreement in effect exists already. It's a matter of formalities for it to go through. But I do not have any of the details with me, so I can't make any claims as to what we are able to offer.
Okay. Yeah, and we're going to have a webinar with Futuro on Monday next week, and we'll publish it on Facebook. We'll send you an invitation as well. And I think Abi has answered some of the questions, but we will answer the question after a panel debate where we're prepared. So there was some questions for you, which I find quite interesting. So for example, let's see, who shall I choose here? Okay, let's go for Abi. In which areas do you think a person from South America can provide new knowledge to the Swedish workforce and contribute in their country after studying in Sweden?
So you mean contribute back in South America then?
Correct, yes.
Right. So I think there's a lot of things that South American students, in general, I think any student that comes from outside of Sweden is going to enrich, as actually using the words that Leonardo said, they are going to enrich the discussion, the debate, the conversation that's going to be happening wherever it is, whether it's school or at a workplace, it doesn't matter. So I think the South American student would basically be bringing an attitude of family. I think one of the things that Swedes excel at is, of course, teamwork, but they also excel at being individual and excellent in that way. And I think there is a conflict there, which South American students can restructure, so to speak, or solve in a way, bringing the sense of family, bringing the sense of warmth. I think South American students also bring a sense of humor. Because I don't know what it is about South American students. They look at life in a certain specific way. I think maybe it's just experience, that now I'm generalizing to a large extent, but I think a lot of South American students that come to Sweden have gone through a lot in their life, and therefore they have an attitude towards life which is very positive and very happy. They look at problems and they laugh. That kind of attitude is something that will definitely enrich a Swedish university, workplace, whatever. So, and then when they go back, they would have taken with them attitudes about this individual excellence and teamwork excellence, but at the same time aspects of sustainability, of innovation, of creativity, and things like that I think Sweden excels at. So while the South American student might bring with him or her warmth and sunshine, so to speak, to Sweden, I think they will take back with them some of these more academic, so to speak, abilities. In addition to, of course, other things like entrepreneurial spirits and egalitarianism and things like that, because let's face it, there are few countries in the world that excel at things like egalitarianism like Sweden does, right? I personally, like I said, I come from India. My background is a highly non-egalitarian, highly hierarchical background. So when I come to Sweden and I have to call you Jörgen, even if you're older than I am, or Leticia or Stefan, or even if you're younger than me, we're all the same. We might be a professor, but you're still on a first name basis. That kind of mentality drives certain things that they would be able to take back home to their own countries and maybe drive change there for the better.
Magnus, and I think You're working in South America, Magnus, weren't you? Working with unions in South America, am I right? What was your experience of working in South America?
I can only agree with what Abi was saying. I mean, working in South America has been enriching for me. I mean, just familiar. The feeling of everybody in a group as a family working together is, I would say, the most significant thing that's difference between Sweden and South America.
And Leticia, you're being from Mexico. What have you seen? Like, what have been your experience?
Yes, my experience is similar. I agree also with Avi, very well described. And you find a balance and you learn from both countries. And if we bring it to a bigger perspective, it's this individual contact that will happen on a daily basis. You coming from South America, Latin America, meeting Swedish students, Swedish teachers, but also students from many different parts of the world and that's very important to mention that we have a lot of diversity in all the universities in Sweden. No matter which university you will select and study, you will meet students from all over the world. But bringing it to a bigger perspective, the fact that you come to study in Sweden, you will develop also a network of relationships that you will bring back if you move back to your home country. And thinking about all these different trade agreements that have been developed between Latin American countries, and in this particular case, Sweden, this gives you an added value as a professional and as a person in your personal life. We have many companies, many Swedish companies that have been established in Latin America for maybe even more than 100 years. So, and this is ongoing. Lately, it's IKEA. They just opened in Mexico, and they have plans to open in other Latin American countries, for example. So that will make you very attractive to the global market.
IKEA is I think IKEA will open up a store in about 2 years in Bogota. But it still takes about 2 years, I think. And it's planned it very well.
Time flies.
So I got another question here. Why do you think a person from South America would like Sweden as a study destination? I think that's something has ever replied to already. I know that you have very good relations with the companies in the region. So looking at you, Stefan, for example, I know that you got a lot of companies very close to Växjö. I think IKEA is one of them. So which do you think South America would provide knowledge to IKEA or another company in the region?
Well, speaking about IKEA, obviously, I definitely want to add in something due to that their head office of IKEA is just 50 kilometers south of University, and that's actually in a very 1,000 inhabitants, not so, and that's due to that the home area. So.
Stefan, I think your connection
Could you hear me?
very
Sorry.
weak.
Yes, your connection is not great, Stefan.
Hello there.
Hi, we heard half of your answer. And we missed basically the most important parts.
So you couldn't hear me. I tried to move around. This is obviously the corona problem when working from home, that everybody is stuck somewhere in their home with a bad internet connection in parts of the apartment that you are sitting in. So I try to move around here now and see if that gets better. But I was talking about IKEA, and obviously IKEA is something that somebody from Linneaus University want to mention, due to that IKEA have their head office just 50 kilometers south of Växjö, which is our head office. And obviously, as a contribution for somebody coming from South America to IKEA, I would say that it can maybe be hard to contribute a specific thing to IKEA directly, being a global company with a lot of different nationalities. But obviously, this mix of diversity that you bring in as coming from any kind of country to a company would obviously help to develop the strong Swedish values that we have in all companies, such as sustainability, innovation, entrepreneurship, and that kind of things. But apart from that, obviously, the warmness, the sun are the things that Abby already pointed out that somebody from South America would bring. And that we need in our more kind of cold and winter landscape here in Sweden.
And I think you got a scholarship. I think it's funded by IKEA, Stefan, is that right?
I mean, as you said, we have a link to IKEA in certain ways, and one of them is obviously that we have some particular programs, but we also have a large scholarship foundation, but mostly on research area. So the Kamprad Family Foundation, with more money in it than the Nobel Prize Foundation, actually being the Nobel Day here in Sweden, benefits for a lot of universities, but mainly to universities in this region. So yeah, that's correct.
Laetitia, I would like to add something here.
Well, yeah, about the scholarships or about...
Yeah, but why not? Yes, scholarship, yes.
Yeah, I think all universities in Sweden also offer their own scholarships, as you mentioned before, but definitely the Swedish Institute scholarship is the best, I would say, because it covers everything. Even though it's a lot of competition, I think everyone who is ready to apply should apply. And then there are other options like El Futuro that we mentioned before.
And you got the scholarship that covers it 30% to 40%?
Well, in our case for Jönköping University, the Jönköping University can offer 30% of the tuition fee.
Okay. And how about the
Chalmers and Linneaus?
Yeah, sorry. And you, Abby, and with the scholarships at Chalmers?
Yeah, I mean, our scholarships, we have, well, I can't really be 100% sure about what scholarships are relevant to all Latin American students. With that said, we have a number of scholarships that we offer. Most scholarships that we offer are actually 75% tuition fee waivers. So that means that you as a student are paying only 25% of the fees. All of our scholarships are actually mainly academic merit based. So we don't really run based on, okay, let's just because you've got 15 years of experience, you get a scholarship. Is not the way it works. It's you're a good student, you've shown academic merit, and then you've also managed to motivate why you want to study a particular program at Chalmers, right? So a combination of several factors will make you more attractive to the scholarship foundation or the scholarship decision committee. That stated, our scholarships, yeah, we've got a number of scholarships, and all of them are listed on our website also. It's called chalmers.se/scholarships. So you can find them. Some of these scholarships are also like what Stefan was talking about, given the fact that Sweden is the country that it is, that has as many companies as it does, and as successful as they are, the universities tend to have a strong, connection to these companies, and it's no different for Chalmers. Volvo, Ericsson, Saab, AstraZeneca, so on and so forth. They're all companies that we work with. Not everybody offers a scholarship or anything like that, but that does not imply that we don't work with these companies. Industry contact, how do you say this? It produces results in many different ways, and not just in the form of a scholarship.
I got another question for you, Abin, then that one was answered. What are the careers for the future, in your opinion, looking at your university program at Chalmers?
Ooh, so then, okay, so we're actually, if we're speaking specifically about Chalmers, we have to understand from the first fundamentally that we are an engineering university, right? So that's the kind of career that we would be looking at. But then obviously it's not just engineering. The areas that we teach in our engineering, architecture, and technology management, right? So that's the belt of education that we support and we propagate. So basically the kind of careers that you can expect to see for students from graduating from Chalmers would be in the tech sector, within entrepreneurship, within business, But when I say business, I don't mean the kind of business that we are talking about, like business administration. We're talking about tech business. So like Spotify or Tesla. You know, Tesla is an example of American tech companies. So it's that kind of area would be what we would expect our students to find careers in. That said, what is the future career for an engineer? I would say it will have something or the other to do with machine learning or artificial intelligence, or, you know, at least some amount of computation. So whatever it is that you study, regardless of whether it is mobility or whether it is biomedical engineering and biotechnology, or it could be anything else, whatever that you study, you will have an aspect of computation in it. And I think that is where, even if you're studying business now, right? So regardless of any career path that you choose, I think computation and analysis is going to be a fundamental part of a career in the future. This is, of course, highly debatable. It's an opinion that I have, but that's how I feel at the moment.
How about you, Stefan? What do you think? What is a future career looking at Linneaus? A future program?
Well, as Abby said, obviously computers will be important in the future, regardless whatever you will be working in as when it comes to area. But being from Småland, which is the region in Sweden where we are mostly known for entrepreneurship and innovation, obviously I want to point that out. So I think that is obviously things that are very strong in all over Sweden. So whatever you would study, you would learn about that. Also, when it comes to sustainability generally, Swedish society as it is in big always focuses on that. So that is also something you will learn whatever you study. And obviously, being in the world we are in today, that is something that you need to learn more about in order to help in the ways that you can in the world generally.
And I think, yeah, Sweden is doing quite good when it comes to entrepreneurship and looking at the rankings.
If you would look at that kind of world rankings, obviously you would see that Sweden sticks out in these kind of areas. Gender equality is also things that we look and are strong at. So all these kind of more progressive values, you could say.
Yeah. Would you like to add something, Magnus? What would you think is a future career? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm going to leave that question to the to my colleagues here from the universities.
Come on, Magnus. Tell them that you can be a rocket scientist. Come on. You could be the prime minister of your country.
Leticia, what do you think? What is the programs that you think are the future programs at Jönköping?
Well, at Jönköping University, we are very strong in the area of entrepreneurship, which is actual program. We are leading in research in entrepreneurship in Europe, at least second in the world, I believe. So we have a master program in strategic entrepreneurship, for example, and it's not only about starting new venture, it's about business renewal, it's about social entrepreneurship, links to sustainability, and so on. Also, I will say the master's degree that Leonardo is pursuing at Jönköping University in digital business, definitely. I think this is a growing market now and in the near future as well. Other programs, maybe in terms of international logistics. You know, we're in the globalized world. We are experiencing now with the pandemic how important it is that to know about logistics in the international, in the global world. And as Abby said, artificial intelligence, that will be being developed more and more.
Yeah. And another question, I think we already answered pretty much, but this is, let's have a look in, yes. So here's, well, which companies have you seen are looking for international graduates and in which areas? So we've been speaking about Volvo, we are speaking about IKEA, and other companies. Which areas have you seen they're looking for a lot of people? A lot of, yeah.
I can answer that. I would say that the area where we have the most applying work permits is actually computer engineer from India. So Abhi almost fits exactly what we are mostly looking for in Sweden right now.
It's actually true because of the fact that I actually am a software engineer from India, as with my experience. I studied electronics in India, but I worked as a software engineer in India before I came to Sweden to do my master's at Chalmers, actually. Yeah, so no wonder I'm a citizen now, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm joking about it, but obviously in all of the engineering and sector generally, and programmers for computer science, for example, as Abby pointed out before.
I would also say that, you know, some of these other sectors would be the automotive sector. I mean, you have to understand that obviously these are things that are driven by economy.
Yeah.
And if the economy is going to be heavily predicated on specific industries such as software, where Spotify comes in, or biotech like AstraZeneca comes in, or automotive and manufacturing where Volvo, Scania come in, and people like that, then, or H&M, you know, like with again, manufacturing production comes in, then you're obviously going to be the ones that are drivers of employment. And then that will be affected once again by world economy. When you have a pandemic, everybody's going to be shedding workforce. And when you have a good market run, then you're going to be absorbing workforce. So this is something that one has to always take with a pinch of salt, so to speak, or try to understand with both micro and macroeconomics in perspective.
Laetitia, what have you seen in your region?
Yeah, well, we have seen that our students, they get jobs at these well-known companies, global companies, as mentioned earlier, IKEA, Volvo, also local companies that are maybe small and medium-sized, but they're quite international. They also employ our students, our alumni. And it's also important to point out that there are also students who decide to continue being students, that's PhD. So we also have a nice group of students who decide to continue that path to become PhD students. And the fact that English is, I may say, second language in Sweden, it's quite easy to be admitted as a PhD student in universities where we run quite a lot of research in English, which is pretty common all over Sweden. And also we have those who decide to start their own companies through the science parks that Leo mentioned earlier. And we do have a nice group of international students that during their studies, they take advantage of the fact that we have science parks and start their own business at the same time they're being students. So it's nice to see the whole, you know, not only to become an employee, but maybe do a PhD or maybe start your own business. It's good.
I mean, you can become an employer, right? You don't have to be an employee. You can become an employer.
Yes,
you might give jobs.
Entrepreneurial.
Right, yeah. No, I agree with you.
Leonardo, what would you like to do in the future?
I think that I was listening carefully to all of the comments because I think that it pretty reflects to the situation in Sweden. I mean, the situation for us as international students. Of course, I feel that I'm in the right place because I was always an entrepreneurial-oriented person, and that's why I decided to pursue my internship in the Science Park. So I would say that it goes more in that way. And going back to your question about the future jobs, and I think that the intersection between all of the areas that Abby already mentioned, of course, digitally oriented areas, and the intersection with sustainability are the key areas now for the future. I mean, like this is the point in which we might go if that's our choice, and that's the way. For example, just briefly, the things that I'm doing now with the science park are pretty related to the issue of digital destruction. So there are so many things that new technologies bring in a positive way. We have no doubt about all the positive benefits of new technologies, but we also should have a look of the flip side of the new technologies, and that's the thing that I'm trying to cover with my internship in terms of how our attention has been downgraded in some way because of new technologies or the digital lifestyle or extreme digital lifestyle. So I think that's a way to connect those well-known areas and with all of the potential for the future, but also with the sustainability dimension or a more humanistic way of perceiving new technologies. I mean.
Yeah. So I think we got I think we got quite a few questions here in the chat. I can see. How are we doing with the questions? Avi, Leticia, Stefan,
I've been answering all of them.
I either have to
Good
talk.
answers, Abby.
Thank you. Either I have to talk or I have to type. I can't keep quiet, right? I have to be productive. It's a disease.
Okay. So that's it. So have you answered all the questions? I've been looking at them for a little bit.
There are a few questions that haven't been answered, but they are very specific to, I think, SI to start with.
Okay.
And I wrote a big answer to everyone because basically, I mean, I cannot comment or assist in individual application questions regarding your applications, as it would create an unfair advantage. Then I would have to do that for each applicant that has a question, and it's could be like 10,000. So use your best judgment and decide what you believe is the best, most appropriate according to your situation. If you believe that your experience should be counted as work or leadership experience, you can count them as long as you can provide the required proofs for the experience, of course. But I will try to answer them in general questions that everybody could relate to. I have seen that there's been some questions if you can study arts with the scholarship, and unfortunately you cannot. There are some fields that are not eligible for this SI scholarship, and that is language, arts, film, and literature. These fields are not eligible for the SI scholarship. And I saw a question that if someone was asking if they can still study art if they had a scholarship, and you can, of course, but the scholarship only covers the cost for your master's program. If you decide to take another course, the university probably would like to get paid for that, so then you have to pay it for yourself. So,
any more questions here that perhaps haven't been answered? Can you see any?
Can however add in one thing that
okay,
most universities would allow somebody to study arts. So even if the SE scholarship is not around, you can always apply to certain universities and get the scholarship to them.
Exactly. So it's not so while we have the SI scholarship, and that is the star of today's show, each of our universities actually have specific scholarships that will be either general or program specific or industry oriented or whatever. And one big thing that you got to think about is this: regardless of what scholarship you're applying for, you need to start by making a master's application. Without that, a scholarship application is moot. So please start by visiting a specific university's website. Alternatively, go to the general one. Go to studyinsweden.se. Right? Look through all the programs, all the universities that are there, and find one or a few that you are interested in. Identify a program or a set of programs that you are interested in or that apply to you. Visit those pages, read the information. Every university's website has very, very clear information as to what you should do in order to make an application and what are the required eligibility requirements and all of those things. They are all there. So all you've got to do is be patient and you have to really put in the work here, because nobody's going to be able to condense all of that information for you and just tell you, unless maybe Jürgen does that. But otherwise, it's your job, right? So you've got to put in the time and the work, be patient, maybe read it 3 times, 4 times, whatever number of times it takes for you to get it. Make the application first. Once you've made the application, now you're in a position to make a scholarship application. And the scholarship application for SI is in February. But the scholarship for each of our universities has a different process. For Chalmers, you will be making your application in time with the master's application. Whereas for Linneaus, it might be separate, right? For Jönköping, it might be separate or it might be together. So you have to go to the university's website, understand exactly how the university's scholarship application system and process works as well, and then make the applications accordingly. So these are these are centralized and decentralized processes that are working together all the time. And you need to make sure that if you want a scholarship and if you want to study in Sweden, you've got to also show that ability to work for yourself, right?
Yeah,
so,
and as you mentioned, for the Swedish Institute scholarship, Magnus already explained, you have to apply by the 15th of January to get admitted to a master program. And then you have to apply for the Swedish Institute scholarship between the 8th to the 18th of February. But if you want to apply to the other scholarships, as Abby said, for example, I will say the case in Jönköping University, we also have a local admission. That means you can apply directly to a master program to us. And that deadline is until the 2nd of May. So we have a larger option, and you can apply for the Jönköping University scholarship by the 15th of April. So very good explanation. Study is university that is of your interest. What about you, Stefan? How is in Linneaus?
Well, I can add in that for Linneaus University, we follow actually the SC scholarship timeline. So basically the most important part though is that you make Linneaus University as your first priority, because it's only the ones that has put Linneaus University as priority 1 that we will send the information to. So as long as you have done that, you will get instructions on the 8th of February regarding how to apply for scholarship. And then you also have until the 18th of February to do that application. And one thing to point out is also that, as Abby also was talking about, you should obviously not only focus on the SI scholarship. You should apply both to the SI, Swedish Institute, and also for the certain university that you have made as your first priority, because that's rather common in Sweden that we only give the option to the student that have prioritized us as number 1. Due to that, the amount of applicants for the scholarship would be enormous otherwise. So
and there
look
is something
at each university.
Right. And to kind of qualify once again what Stefan, what you're saying, just to explain the whole thing about priority, I don't know how many of you have actually made an application. You need to understand if you're going to make. Now, Jönköping already has explained, Leticia, that they have their own system in addition to the university admissions application system. But if you're going to, let's say, apply to Linneaus or to Chalmers, you are going to go to university admissions to make an application. And on that website, when you're making an application, you're number 1 making an application to the Swedish government, right? It's the Swedish Higher Education Council that owns that website, and they are the ones that are going to do the first check of you. And with that application, you are able to choose up to 4 options, and these 4 options are 4 programs. The 4 programs can be from a combination of universities or even one university. So it's up to you to choose how you will make that combination. And then you will place that combination in an order, right? And that's the priority order that Stefan is talking about. So if you want a scholarship from Linneaus, Linneaus is going to require that you put them at number 1. Same case goes for Chalmers. Why do we do that? Because we want you to decide which university do you want to actually go to, right? You have to be clear about which university do you want to go to, because only that university will probably consider you for a scholarship. The rest are not even going to bother.
And
Right.
just to clarify, also Jönköping University programs are also in the central admissions that you said, that if you want to obtain the Swedish Institute scholarship, you must apply through the central university admissions application for all universities in Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there is a question here about, like, what if I apply to 2 scholarships at the same time? And in order to wait which one is accepted. So basically, it doesn't matter, right? So you can apply to as many scholarships as you want. Technically speaking, you will only get 1. Even if you're offered, let's say you win 3 scholarships, you will still only get 1. Because, well, I mean, we will take the money from the others and give it to other students as well. We don't want one student to walk away with 3 scholarships, right? That would be unfair. So what we would do is we would distribute the other scholarships to other people. We would ask you, what scholarship do you want to keep? You would obviously say, if you get the SI scholarship, you would obviously say it is SI. And we know that already, but we're not going to assume that for you. You might still say, no, you know what, I just want this scholarship or whatever. We don't know. So we will give you the choice. And when you've decided, the other scholarship will get taken away from you and given to somebody else.
And another option, it's like Kolfuturo is also an option. So apply to everything. Apply to all the scholarships you can apply to, and also the Kolfuturo, if you are in Colombia, of course. So yeah, use all the options. I'm not sure. Yeah, Abby?
No, I was about to say, doesn't Mexico have CONACYT?
Okay. Yeah, with Mexico is CONACYT, and in our case we also work with FIDER, Banco de Mexico. So there are many options.
All of the Latin American countries, there are different such options. Exactly.
Another thing, well, we, as I said before when we started, well, we don't charge anything for services because the university helps out with that, with these things. So we don't charge anything from our side. So we can help you out with application. I've also been helping some people about a motivation letter, like more about looking at what they should focus on. So that's something I've done quite a lot as well. Looking at the motivation and say, well, if you're very good at, we've done a lot of investigation in this area, put it on your letter, put it in your motivation letter, because that is very important as well. So yeah, we can help you to look at your motivation letter, perhaps more or less like what you should focus on. But we won't write your motivation, but we can help you out like, well, perhaps you should write a bit more about this, that might help. And also like the UN, as you said, Magnus, you got what is called a UN website, like you need to look on the focus on UN.
The UN Sustainable Goals.
Exactly, yeah, that's another thing. Look at those things. Yeah. And they try to include that in the application as well. Yeah. So when it comes to application, I would say. So I haven't got any more questions for you guys. I'm not sure if we got more questions on the chat. Have we got
one
something
question
to say?
from Diana.
Okay.
He's asking, is there an age limit to apply for the SI scholarship?
No, there's not. I mean, just make sure that you apply for the university program that you want to attend first, and then apply for the SI scholarship, and you can be anywhere from 25 to 99, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
And at the universities, we don't have age limits either to apply for programs. Everyone is welcome if you meet the prerequisites, of course.
We really love the lifelong learning, basically.
Exactly. That's actually a thing, right? Like at all our universities, this lifelong learning is a thing.
Definitely, definitely.
And Sweden is a very good option to study. We look at it's like maternity leave. It's 1 year, so you share it with your partner. So like the father got 6 months off and the mother got 6 months off, and the education is free for the children. So a lot of things are very good in Sweden. And as another person, I think it was at the Linneaus webinar, he said what they say in Spanish. It's like el único riesgo es que te quedes. Isn't that right, Leonardo?
Fue un eslogan de Colombia. El único riesgo es que te quieras quedar. The only risk is that you wanna stay or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So take the risk.
Take the risk, exactly. Yeah. So anyone who would like to add something?
No. I would just say make an application.
Make application, Leticia.
Yeah, we'll just say welcome to Sweden. We're waiting for you. We hope to see you here.
Make the application. Take the risk.
Yes.
Take the risk. Magnus, something you would like to say to everybody here?
Take the risk.
No, I mean, study our webpage carefully. I mean, we have so much information online, as Abby said as well. I mean, all the universities has that as well. So, I mean, if you just follow the instructions, I think it will be, you will do great.
Yeah, and we are here to help. So yeah, call us, send a message on WhatsApp. We're here to help you. So you won't commit any stupid small mistakes which might happen. So what we have seen. So contact us. We're here to help. It won't cost you anything. The only thing which will cost is translations. That's it. So, well, great to have you here. And what can I say? Good evening. Good evening to you in Sweden, and have a good rest of the day in Colombia. And that's it. So we can say, hej då. That's it.
Hej då.
Hej då.
Bye.
Hej då.
Hej då.
Hej då.
Tack, tack.